Hi everyone, welcome to Yoga Detour. I'm Cecily and I'll be your instructor today. We're going to be looking at our wrists in this video. So if you're someone that practices a lot of yoga and needs a lot of support from their hands, this is going to be really important work for you to be doing. Similarly, if you're someone that works at a computer a lot and keeps the hands in one position for a lot of the day, we're going to use some mobility tools to make sure that your wrists stay pain-free or move toward being pain-free if they're already causing you some issues. So let's pull our hands out of our pockets and get started. I'm going to bring us onto all fours to begin with. So just setting the hands under the shoulders and the knees underneath the hips. All we're going to do is start to move the body around in a circle. So as I send my shoulders over my wrists, I'm moving forward just enough to start feeling a little bit of a stretch, maybe a little bit of healthy stress in those joints. And then we'll go the other way. The elbows here I'm keeping straight, and I'm not really worrying about what's happening anywhere else in the body unless it's causing me discomfort. So if you'd rather have some padding under your knees, then go ahead and set that up so that you're comfortable. Once we get an idea of where our range is at with this kind of movement, we're going to start to bring one hand and turn it around to face the knees. So placing the hand a little closer to the knee makes the stretch we're about to do a little bit less intense. If you move the hand further away, it's going to be a little bit more intense. So if I have my hand pointing toward my knee, I'm going to soften that elbow and then just slowly ease my weight back. So I feel that the wrist begins to lift, the palm begins to point forward. From that point, I'm just going to monitor how much load I'm putting through the fingers. So I might shift my weight side to side and then actually use my fingers and press them into the floor for some support. Now with that lifted thumb, I'm just going to start to draw some circles. It's like I'm pulling my thumb across the palm over toward the baby finger and then using as much of the base of that thumb as possible rather than bending it in the center. And again, going both ways with those circles. And then slowly easing off the whole hand and just open and closing the fingers into a fist a couple times. Then we'll switch sides. So as I bring the right hand forward, turning the left around, same thing, I start to soften the elbow, pull back on that palm. And as you can see, I'm trying to keep that base of my fingers solidly connected into the mat. And then from there, as the thumb starts to pull wide, I then draw it across the hand over to the baby finger side and then draw some circles. If you've never done this kind of movement before, it can feel kind of strange for your thumb. But trust me, it's going to appreciate it in the long run. I go in both directions again with the circles. And then from there, we'll let that hand release, open and close again a few times. And bring the hand back down. Okay? And now similar to the first movement where we move the body around, this time I'm just going to move my hands around, just visiting different directions with the fingers and noticing as I just take these little steps where things might start to feel a little bit tight. And then I'll go the other way, moving the fingers to point inward. And when we get to those nice awkward angles, it can be a good opportunity just to linger for a moment and visit that. So it's exposing our joints to places and movements that otherwise they're not being exposed to, and that's a really good thing. Now I'm going to flip the hands all the way over so that my fingers point in and the palms turn up. And for some of us, this is going to feel pretty intense. So walking them back again toward the knees might help. If it's feeling impossible to straighten your elbows, I totally understand. I used to be just like that. But through lots of work, I've gotten to the point where the elbows can start to straighten. And you will too. From there, I'm going to start to lower my body so my elbows will bend all the way down toward the floor. And then coming up and working to get the elbows as straight as possible. We'll do that a couple more times. And then as we start to come up on this one, see if you can bring the hands into fists. Maybe walk around on those fists a little bit. Turning them in different directions. And then starting to find different surfaces, like the outer edges. Maybe lowering down and lifting back up onto the knuckles. As you can see, there's not really a wrong way to be doing this movement. It's more so about exposing all of the different surfaces, all of the many different joints in the hand to movement. So for the next few seconds, just allow your own creativity to take over. Moving things in a way that is manageable, not too painful, but also comfortable. And then we'll sit back, bring our hands together, interlace the fingers, and just roll the wrists around, going in both directions. And then taking the palms together and moving the hands in one big circle here. Trying to get the wrists to really find their full range of motion. And then I'll reverse it again. And then we're ready for more. So if you're ready to get down now into some wrist strengthening, join us for that video, which is probably coming up next. Thanks again for following us today on The Detour, and I look forward to seeing you next time.